It's 8 a.m. on a Monday, not just any Monday, the Monday that is January 5th, which is the start of the first full week of 2026. I guess yesterday would have been that, but this is like the work week start, right? Hey guys and gals and boys and girls, how are you out there? I know me, I am ready for this week. It's a busy one actually. We've got a lot of things. It's the new year, so all the new stuff that's been happening backstage that I've been stacking up in notes on papers that have now translated into other things that will become more and more material and hopefully useful for folks out there. Again, the virtual stump is really the main project push that I'm focusing on. And now I think it's very relative because, again, we've got such disconnection in the world and like finding centralized hubs to find information about things that really do matter, believe it or not. Hard to say now. I know you're hearing a little bit of the extra hum in the background. It's because that's the we okay. So Flip is the calendar, right? Thank you once again, Leslie. Flip is the calendar. I gotta come up with a cool name for the printer. I don't know what it is yet, but that one's super special because I love that machine. I tell you, I can't stress enough how much I encourage everyone to seriously consider getting a 3D printer into your home because it's one of the most handy gadgets in the history of gadgets ever, 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 ever. So let's come back over here as we do our morning thing of putting the show up at the top of the page so I can keep up with the comments better that way. Good morning, Damien. Glad to see you here, buddy. And yeah, so that's a happening. But yeah, this is definitely a maximum effort Monday as Deadpool and Flip brought us into um, the week, kicking it off, ready to go. Because golly gee willikers, it's surely to be a busy and hectic week with the events of the weekend, with the Trump administration laying the hammer down on former Venezuelan president because that whole it's a contentious subject, right? Because we never recognized his election. Well, I don't care. I'll be honest with you, I don't. It's like that's one of those foreign policy things that are happening that I honestly I can't speak to. I can say though that such an action as was carried out by the Trump administration is not exactly new. We've done it before, like with Panama, and once again, about a long time ago in 1989. I'm sure I'm looking at the stream here on my end. It looks like it's kind of staggering a little bit. I don't know why. Everything looks good on this end, so but when it goes from here to over here to you guys are seeing, I don't know. And again, that's one of the beautiful things about doing it in this manner. I don't know how to get a hold of that engineer. But we'll just see. Because again, I don't think there's anything running in the background that's going to cause any lag on my machine. Because the machine, again, it looks great. So, oh, who knows? People are probably still going nuts. Maybe doing New Year's photos in ChatGPT to get you a New Year's card generated in your likeness-ish. I don't know. But yeah, there we go. But yeah, so the plan is, as of right now, and the schedule being that the Arkansas Virtual Stump, which will be a live stream show, we're just going to kind of update you on the people and issues that have been collected by way of the Virtual Stump outreach that I put together, and kind of just do a capture the week's events to that point, and then we'll do it every week, probably all year long. But again, this isn't for everyone. I completely understand that, but I do hope that folks will pay attention to the snippets that go out that kind of explain things, introduce you to people. So when we get to the March primaries, you'll have that first hurdle, if you will. You're informed when you go to the ballot box because the early voting starts in February. But then once that's done, we'll have some runoffs for sure because in Boone County alone, we've got 5 people running for county judge as well as 5 people running for state representative District 5. So the odds of there not being a runoff in both of those races are pretty much slim to none. So we'll keep you up to date on that, and then we'll be moving into the general election in November. So, but along the way, my hope and my goal is to, again, get you the information so you can make an informed decision at the ballot box. Get engaged again. Because again, what are we engaged in now? It's like thinking about like this past well, the 31st was the final episode ever, until there's another, of Stranger Things season 5, where they wrapped up that whole story. This was the span of 10 years, 5 seasons, great characters, fun, fun. Okay, if you couldn't just have fun with it, lighten up. You're overthinking it for real. Just enjoy the entertainment. But I think it very well may be the last. See, Damien, I like that suggestion for the printer, but I can't say that flowingly. So no, it needs to be something very simple, very simple. So flip was easy. So, and good morning, Thomas. Good to see you there, buddy. And I see that Gar has made an appearance. So, hey, good morning, Tom. Glad to see you woke up, man. I didn't know if you was going to be able to do it. I'm just playing, just playing. But anyway, the goal, of course, in that project is simply to inform the community as best I can. And for 2026, like I say, for 15 years ish, I've been doing election coverage locally that I think, well, again, nobody else was doing it. And somebody needed to, the way I saw it. And I'm going to continue. But this time, though, we are expanding statewide. So our first outreach this week is we're going to be reaching out. I say us, and that's me and Alicia. We're going to be reaching out to candidates all across the state, starting with the contested races coming up in March, right, for the primaries, because that will, let's just be real, they are the ones that are going to have, well, the most, well, they need the visual more so than the folks running uncontested. Boone County, again, I was really hoping to be able to get more of the uncontested candidates just to introduce them to you and you to them. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. There's still time to put things on, but again, we're shifting priorities to take it to the state and also learn about the state issues on the ballot. That again, it's like there's the camps that talk about how, well, I can't believe they did that. Well, because you weren't paying attention. And listen, personal responsibility is the thing, believe it or not. So we all have to, and in today's age, you can't rely on just your local media. And I'm not picking when I say this, but you can't just rely on that arm of information to keep you up to date, because there's a lot of reasons. One, most aren't as nuts as I am to do something like this, especially when, again, I'm doing this. This is a public service thing. This is like a .org, if you will, without being a .org. But it's just a service and a thing and information that I feel needs to be out there, and doing it in a way that I think people can digest comfortably and easily, make it as simple as possible. But we all need to step up like that, because talking about Venezuela, okay, I've been really rolling that around in my head. Once upon a time ago, when it came to things such as that, it really fed into, it was a patriotic act, right? If we were going to slap down a tyrant or ensure democracy somewhere, and again, perspectives have changed dramatically over the past 20 years when it comes to those actions. But wouldn't it be nice to be able to hold on to that mentality again, or grab a hold of it again, to where when the nation acts, the nation unites? Unfortunately, and I just state my opinion on this, I do believe we'll call it the media apparatus, because it's not just on the television or the cable stations that, again, how do you word things now? Anyway, so media outlets, and it doesn't matter if it's mainstream or alternative or just influencer, online based, whatever, doesn't matter. Everything is so damn fractured that you've got to take the initiative to really think for yourself. And if I can encourage you to do that, don't trust me. No, I'm bringing you the information as I can report it as straight down the middle as possible, right? And, well, then it's up to you to make up your own mind. But start there with the intent of making up your own mind and not just regurgitating what the boxes are telling you. Take their information to heart, think about it, and but then cross-check it. I mean, seriously, do it, because things are, if you believe, think about it like this. If you believe that everything that is happening inside of the world right now, and every single thing that's reported on and put out there for public consumption, is indeed so life-shattering, changing, worthy of your emotional energy, then do yourself a favor. I mean, if I look at it like this, if you've got a problem with something or someone, and you don't take the initiative to go to the source and learn something yourself, it's on you at that point. But do know that, again, all of this stuff is framed to bring out an emotional response in you so you stay engaged with a particular platform or channel, if you will, going back to the old days and old ways of saying things. But that's its intent and purpose. Because why? Because if they've got your eyeballs and your attention, they can show you the ads that keep the things running. Ta-da! I mean, and again, and that's not like some big, broad conspiracy thing going on. It's just the truth. It's how the machine and the cogs get greased and stay on. So, Jim, how are you doing this thing like for free and junk? Well, because I've built in this pillar system to where, again, I've got a product. It's called my book. I'm hoping that you'll check out stuff, read things that I put out there, and you're like, wow, maybe there's more to this thing that I'm thinking about when it comes to collecting stuff and the stuff that's piled up around me. Give you a little insight and perspective that you may not have thought about before, so you can enjoy what you enjoy more and empower yourself through the things you already love, right? Or free yourself from the traps that we set for ourselves in same set activities. But then also, when it comes to a project, I needed something that I could invest that that energy that is like I would call it my calling, I guess. Information distribution is a thing for me, right? I can't not do a newsy thing. I can't not do it. But I know it's, quite frankly, the news I would like to present to you would be of the good news nature, and I can promise you, in doing the good news nature stuff, you will absolutely positively starve to death. Don't do it. People don't pay for it. It's just true. But then of course there is that the profit line there as far as the service that I offer, that is very much streamlined and specific to specific people. As far as me doing it for you, if we don't get along, I'm not going to do it. It's not, and you don't like me, don't hire me, because that's just terrible. And I'm not knocking on doors in that manner. Not interested. But if we get along and we can help each other out in trading time for money and such, and knowledge and information, good. We got a great fit. We can move forward, because I promise you, with the things that I've brought to the table with creating evergreen content, it can save you a remarkable amount of time. And that's really my focus. But okay, so that was kind of fun. See, I told you, this is going to be like a maximum effort Monday. Because again, it's 2026. There's no looking back. The holidays are over up until Valentine's Day. Fellas, make a note so you don't accidentally goof or wait till the last minute. Make your reservations now if you're going to go out do the dinner thing, or start stocking back your pennies if you're going to get her something incredibly awesome and shiny and stuff like that that the girls still like. Was that a sexist comment? No, because it's true. Ladies in the audience, tell me you don't like shiny things. Also, other side of the coin, ladies, put some effort in for your fellas. Okay, we like stuff too. You can gush over us. We gush over each other. And thank you very much for that stunning review, Tom. I appreciate that. I've had a lot of fun with the book itself and the things that are coming out, because if you go to toysortotems.com, I'm getting back into like my roots of blogging. And it's cool because I missed doing that, like back in the old Jim's Toy Box days. It was fun doing reviews and such, but then it got really boring, because it's like the things one could say in the process of doing a review, I mean, it's just good, bad, do, don't. I mean, yeah, it gets stale, or it got stale. So I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't want to do that anymore. Let me check my levels there. Looks like a little low, so we'll bump it. Anyway, so there's that. And yeah, but check it out, toysortotems.com. Like I say, the blog goes out fresh every single morning. My scheduling is a little wacky on it, but it's there, I promise. Let's go look. You want to go look? Let's go look together. So, there we are. I wanted to make some of the changes there. That way you could not get all the vertigo of it. But yeah, you go to toysortotems.com, and again, you'll see the fun stuff. Just thoughts in my head that may resonate with some of the thoughts in your head. Things to look at. Plus, and I haven't incorporated a whole lot of like the little knock-knock animations on the website right now, but I'm putting them up on the YouTube and the TikTok and Facebook. I try to share them there too, because the knock-knock app is fun. If you are a collector of things, especially like with action figures, this thing, that app is so much fun. I'm sure it's stealing all your data, whatever, everything does, get over it. But it's fun. Let's see, let's go back Like the one, I don't think I put this one up yet. I don't know. Let's go look. No, the one with Deadpool. Yeah, he's not on the Facebook. But I think I've got him on the TikTok. But he's just kind of fun. Gave him a little action. Check it out. Saucy, but it's fun. Anyway, I don't know. Again, it's like it's going to be a great year if we make it that way. Um, because the box, again, like the way my algorithm feeds me information, and it's totally my fault, and it's totally your fault what you see. Understand this. They're giving you what you like, right? Building your own echo chamber. And once you understand that, once you understand that the algorithms aren't feeding you anything you don't want. Now, you may not realize that, but the truth of the matter is, with all the data and analytics that they have collected over the past 15 years of social media being a thing, they do know us better than we know ourselves in a lot of ways, and that's how they can totally keep us going. Hey, there is Gar Thaddeus Gernstein, the incredible host of the Incredible Horrible Horror. Incredible Horror? Yes. Brought to you by Gar. Check it out Saturday nights, Twitch TV. Another thing I didn't mention. For the folks here in the 72601 area and region, we got another beautiful springtime winter in progress. So I think it looks to be a great time to get out and do. But also, I got to plug my buddy Brandon Ruley's Stormtrack 360 because, well, weather still can change at kind of a drop of a hat, believe it or not. And yeah, so you don't care about the weather guy whenever everything's beautiful and sunny, right? But when things get dicey, you want somebody who can give you more of the skinny of what's happening in your neck of the woods. So, in 16 county coverage area, Brandon's there. And so, stormtrack360.com, be sure to make a note that he's there and he's waiting for you. And don't forget him in the meantime. See what else he's got going on. He also gets public information out. Like I do believe at the moment we've got a burn ban in Boone County. I know it was announced at one point. I don't know if it's still in play because of all the winds. So it was crazy. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's like we're at that start of the year thing and doing everything we can to make things awesome and good and great. And it's a choice because things can suck just as much as they can be good. Now, you may have to fight through the suck a little bit harder, but it'll work out. You can do it. I got faith in you. And I'm here to remind you every morning at 8 a.m. Central Time over a cup of coffee. So, what are y'all doing? Share some info with me. What do you got going on for this year? Any plans? Again, don't do resolutions. Come up with a goal, but build a system to get that goal into reality. That's how you manifest, kids. It's called work. Yep. Ah, there's a burn ban done in Florida. Well, there you go. Right on. So, starting Saturday, Damien's going to be returning to the regular scheduled winter. Oh, good. I'm glad you're keeping up with that. So, again, we got a wonderful work week. Isn't it nice when it's just like nice? And it's beautiful whenever you can't go out and enjoy it. But come the weekend, according to the structure in which we follow, yeah, the weather will go crappy again. But I don't know. Even then, we need some winter. We do. I root for winter, if only to take out the insects as best they do. Because I don't want to deal with those things. I don't like the buggies, man. We've got dominion over this planet, and if we're going to take out anything, I definitely want to do that. I did find a fun story. I'm like trying to put some effort out in finding interesting things that you may have missed because, again, the talking head stuff and the bullet points that we're all fed every morning misses interesting things. And so one of the interesting things that I found here, that the archaeologists reveal a medieval super ship. And this is pretty cool because like it's from the 1400s, like 1410 is where they're dating this thing. But it's like a big, giant, massive, it's called a cog. And it was just basically one of the biggest transport ships of its time for importing and exporting stuff. And you can go to something I didn't know existed, which is even more interesting. There's a Viking museum. Now, I think this is based out of Deutschland, but it's translated here, which is great. But yeah. But dig that, man. That's the outside of the hull. Looking at like the dimensions that they put up as far as like the size of this thing. Now remember, this is before the days of our modern technology. These folks built this thing. Let's see, where is this thing? Okay, there we go. 28 meters long, 9 meters wide, and 6 meters high, with an estimated cargo capacity of 300 tons. 300 tons. What's funny, and it was like a completely green vessel, right? It wasn't powered by fossil fuels. perhaps slave labor like we see in the movies. I don't know. Did they mention that? I read through the article, but I don't think they mentioned exactly how they powered it. Was it like the big paddles on the side of the thing? Huh. I didn't look. But anyway, let's see. Here we go. We'll go back over here. Yeah, but it's really kind of cool though, because when you think about it, now this is like 600 years ago, and the shipping and importing and trading of goods, built in the Netherlands, fine, unique. The Stern Castle remains, brick gallery. Okay, but they don't necessarily spell out exactly. See, and that's the thing. You would think it would be cool if they would have put together, a mock-up of what the thing looked like before it hit the bottom of the sea. But yeah, that's I don't know. I find stuff like very interesting. So let me go ahead and grab that link. I'll put it in the comments, and you can check that out all by yourself versus me. Just doing it for you because you don't need me to do everything. No, of course not. You can do this yourself. I got faith in you. Once again, I do. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So there we go. It's 21 minutes into the 8 o'clock hour. It's nice out there. It's like a warm 38 degrees with sunshine. Jack the Wonder Dog is still outside out back. He decided he did not want to participate this morning because he's enjoying the fresh air. And I would never, ever, ever force Jack the Wonder Dog to perform when he is not in the mood, or the zone. Oh my gosh, guys and gals, boys and girls, children of all ages. Isn't it funny? That was another thing I was thinking about. What was that? I've had a song stuck in my head. I'm going to share this with you. And I don't know exactly how relevant this is to the conversation, but it's kind of interesting. Okay, I made mention before how we don't really have the water cooler pop culture talk that we've had forever, right? But the thing is like when it comes to like those cultural connections that span generations, I wonder, and I need to talk to more young people about this to see. I know with music, thanks to the film industry bringing back the big bands, not big bands, but big bands of say the 70s and 80s arena rock times, like AC/DC and Led Zeppelin, keeping them relevant. What really crosses over, like when we Gen Xers were kids, it's funny how we were still plugged in to damn near everything of the 20th century. It's like we had a reference point, like the Looney Tunes cartoons of like the 50s or the 40s and 50s that featured like the stars of that era. That most of them were long dead by the time we came along watching these cartoons on Saturday mornings, but we still had an understanding of who James Cagney was, or Peter Lorre, or Betty Davis. Some of them were checking out towards the beginning of our start, but I know that sounds morbid to say, but timelines are timelines. But a song has been stuck in my head, and I do not know why. Nothing against the song or the artist, but Toby Keith's Should Have Been a Cowboy. Should Have Been a Cowboy. That thing has been running through my head all morning long. And the thing that I find interesting is the one line in there. I bet you never heard old Marshall Dillon say, "Hey, Miss Kitty, would you ever thought of running away?" Now, when you think about when that song came out, which was probably around 93, 94, okay, you and I were still quite familiar with Gunsmoke, the television show. Some maybe even with the radio show. But with the television show and the characters, because it was in syndication forever, right? Long past, I think James Arnaz was, I'm not sure what year he passed away, but the rest of the cast, they, is what it is. But we all had a collective understanding of who Marshall, Dillon, and Miss Kitty were, right? And of course, that show had been long gone by the time the Toby Keith tune came out. Thinking about that collectively, who I wonder what that's going to look like in like 10 years. Now, of course, the AI will be able to completely get someone up to date super fast on any kind of references. And yeah, I don't know. But I don't know why that song's been stuck in my head. So that's the best I can put together of why it was there. Because again, nothing against the song, nothing against Toby Keith. Once again, God rest his soul. Like I said, I had the opportunity to chat with Toby many, many, many years ago. probably right about the. Well, I think that was his second album, maybe. Might have been first. I don't know. The details kind of get lost in the distance. But anyway, it was like in the early days of Toby Keith, and he was actually playing BJ Star-Studded Honky Tonk in Little Rock, which was the we would call it the external outreach program of Kissin 96 FM. And so all the big bands or the bigger bands and names that would come through and play BJ's great place. It was a lot of fun back then. But it was Toby Keith and the Brother Phelps, formerly of the Kentucky Headhunters. At that time, they had broken off, did their own solo thing for a while. But Toby was great. It was like he still had his like super curly mullet going on and the shiny blue jacket, and never quit smiling. One of the nicest guys you'd ever meet. I mean, he just never quit smiling. On stage, backstage, parking lot, didn't matter. Just he was a guy that I can say was truly appreciative of where he was and where he was going. Because again, this is before Toby Keith became the it guy for country music. And yeah, so I don't know, just remembering those little things like that. But again, that cultural relevance inside of a song lyric. I don't even know what there is as far as a top 40 these days. I don't know. Well, now here's an interesting little factoid I found out totally accidentally last night. As Alicia is like a super Stranger Things fan, right? Super duper. Has driven me crazy. Honestly, I enjoyed the show, but she's driven me nuts with her fandom approach of things. But anyway, she had discovered that the actor who plays Steve Harrington on the show has a band. That part I didn't know, but called Joe. Well, apparently over the weekend, Steve Harrington, not Steve Harrington, but Joe, the guy who played Steve Harrington, his band, they topped the charts on, I think it's, I want to say Spotify. I don't know. Whichever one of the digital music streamers out there over Taylor Swift, which frankly, I didn't even know Taylor Swift was still relevant on the charts itself or like anything new. Nothing against her. I don't know. But anyway, his band topped Taylor Swift, which is kind of a big deal because she's like the last, what was the term I heard? Oh gosh, I can't remember, but it was like, she's like one of the last artists out there that everybody knows her name, because it has become so fragmented because you don't have an American Top 40 with Casey Kasem anymore. But anyway, that band, Joe, the guy who plays Steve Harrington, topped the charts there, above Taylor Swift. It's kind of obvious why, because of all the push behind Stranger Things Season 5 and the whole thing wrapping up. So that makes sense. But it's interesting. I'll be curious to see how long he holds and maintains before the Goliath that is Taylor Swift goes back to the top of the thing. I don't know. It's just interesting things. Excuse me. Again, finally overall the sinus stuff in my head, but it's wanting to roll around down here just to remind me, I made you feel horrible, Jim. Right here. Here I am, resting right there. Yeah, that's so professional. But then again, I'm sitting in a t-shirt with a little boogie microphone on, sipping on coffee, and a wonderful cluster of stuff all around me. That's the modern professionalism, ladies and gentlemen. And there were a couple other stories that I saw this morning that seemed kind of interesting, but not quite interesting enough to bring in. Like, apparently somewhere, where was it at? If you're into this, Malawi, M-A-L-A-W-I, Malawi, they found the site. They've excavated a site from 9,500 years ago that was a cremation site. It was like the biggest, how would you know? But it was a big one. Malawi, I guess down in Africa, a cremation site. And it's like they found remains. Okay, you're digging through the dirt, the rocks, and the dust. Did you just like scoop one little pile over and say, now here, my friend, is Habib, and we found his remains nearly 10,000 years later? No, you got dust, dude. But it's funny, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that was offensive. I don't care. Another thing, that if you are a Skywatcher type, apparently Jupiter is also going to be, this is a great time to view Jupiter and its moons. They'll just look like little, dots, but it'll be there. So if you are the type, let's see if we'll pull up that article. Why not? It'll be fun. So, space.com and the night sky in January. I'll put the link in here real quick so you can read along if you like, or save it for later. But yeah, this is apparently going to be a great month for checking out Jupiter. Oh, hey, look, they want to say something. I don't blame them. That's what we're all in it for, right? Let's see, where are we at? There we are. There's the story. When it comes to, my gosh, they're still selling us something. Get to the damn story. Okay, you know what? You go sift through the thing yourself. That's why I get careful about doing stuff like that on screen because it's just so much of the everything. It's hard to like disseminate. Um, you feel your heart light? No. Well, that's good, Tom. Speaking of which, that's another flick that's out at the theaters because over the weekend we did go see Avatar 3: Electric Blue Boogaloo. And like it was a fine watch. It was okay. I mean, the family unit really likes it, and I'm not opposed to it. I went, and again, it was I would say it was more of an enjoyable movie than like the first one, and definitely the second one. But do what you do. Remember, it's so funny. I'd seen the ads for that new Hugh Grant and not Hugh Grant, sorry, Hugh Jackman. It should be Hugh Grant. I mean, Wolverine's playing a Neil Diamond impersonator. This is where we are, America. But so Hugh Jackman and Goldie Hawn's daughter, what the hell's her name? Kate Hudson. Anyway, so I guess the premise of the movie is they put together a Neil Diamond tribute act, and that's like the basis of the movie. Okay, all right. I'm that's cool. So here's the thing, though. It's like a movie like that. It's kind of interesting to me. It's like, 'cause first off, when I saw the ads, I thought it would just be like a Netflix or Amazon Prime like exclusive movie, more so than a wide release. What do I know? But so it's a wide release. But from my perspective here in the 72601, up there in the 65616 in Branson, if you wanted to see an amazing Neil Diamond tribute, you got to go see Keith over at the oh gosh, the God and Country Theater, right? The God and Country Theater, the Neil Diamond tribute there. Oh, forgive me, Keith, for forgetting the proper name of the show. But his Neil Diamond is amazing. I mean, it really is. If you like Neil Diamond, oh my gosh, go see Keith up there, God and Country. It's right across from the Music City Theater that I don't know what they do now, but it's also in the park, right across from Applebee's and the Apple Tree Mall, where you can still pick up Toys or Totems in the flesh. So anyway, oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, we could. That'd be great to see the biopic of Tommy Thayer, aka Franken Fraley of Kiss. So I give him a little bit of junk like most of the fans do. Man of Steel. Gar asked me if I absolutely loathed that movie. I did not like it one bit, and here's why. Like I say, when it came to the look of Henry Cavill or Cavill or however you say his name, he had a great look for Superman. I could get over the suit, missing the trunks. Okay, fine, I'm over that. But the origin story that they put in there, where they have Clark not save Jonathan Kent in a tornado. Okay, that was dumb to me because it takes away. Okay, and you watch the Christopher Reeve Superman, or you watch Smallville. Okay, you watch either one of those, and also, well, those are the main two. We'll stick with that. But in those instances, when Jonathan Kent dies of a heart attack, see, the story there is important because it shows Clark as he's growing up as a human, and getting the moral values of a human, where he could just be like a total tyrannical god because of all of his superpowers. Well, in those instances, his Earth father keels over from a heart attack, and there's not a thing in the world he can do. Superman understands at that point that he is powerless against some things, death, like all of us. We have no control over that. In Man of Steel, when Kevin Costner's Jonathan Kent goes flying off into the tornado, just telling Clark, hey, 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 whoa, 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 don't expose yourself. I'm looking out for you, kid. Here's the thing. He was already doing all the Superman type stuff without the suit and could have easily, completely unseen, snatch him out of that tornado and take him back. And then maybe Jonathan would have been so shocked he had a heart attack and moved on the storyline. But again, they removed an element of the Superman character and the Clark Kent character that just takes away from the whole story. And also visually, I didn't really like it. Yeah. So again, it's like that. There I said it, right? Because again, it takes away from the character's humanity. Because otherwise, there's no reason in the world for you go into like that Red Sun story arc wherever. And I'm surprised they haven't done that movie yet. but where Superman, lands in the Soviet Union instead of Smallville, Kansas. So he's brought up with that mentality as the way in which you live. Um, and so if you imagine communist Superman, if you haven't checked that out, again, the comic and then like the animated film that they put out about it, they stray differently, right? But it's an interesting take because what if, Superman landed somewhere other than Smallville, Kansas with the truth, justice, and American way as his ethos to follow? It's an interesting thought. Um, like Bruce Wayne, had he not seen his parents gunned down, he wouldn't have went nuts and turned into a flying bat, right? I don't know. I like what if stories, not necessarily for canonical purposes, but they're interesting. I find it that way. Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's true, and that's true. When the guard pointing out there that it is our version that we like, and they put different ones. But again, the Man of Steel, that one right there is the one that, again, when you change that underlying humanity of the story, is where it gets just a little, I don't know, it's too hard a shift because there's not much of, I don't know, it just loses a lot of depth there for me. So it is my Superman, and that one ain't mine. And again, in the video, in the movies themselves, they went over the top with the effects to look too much like a video game. But now, like the movie The Flash, with all the multiverse stuff, I found that fun. It was kind of fun the way that version of Flash was gallivanting around the multiverses trying to fix a goof that he made, and he bumps into the Michael Keaton Batman, who had turned, spoiler alert, who had just kind of become a recluse and was miserable about everything. And so that was cool. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was an interesting watch. Then the fan service at the end where you got to see all the different, like, Supermans, like the Nicolas Cage Superman that we never actually saw on the big screen, which I'm really glad we didn't, because no. Nicolas Cage's Superman. That was one of the ones that that was the hardest pill to think about swallowing, because he just didn't look right, and it just his mannerisms and everything else. I just wasn't a fan. But anyway, okay, 37 minutes into the 8 o'clock hour. I've got a thing I've got to do, and I actually need to go look professional for this thing. Believe it or not, I still know how to do that. So I got to go do that. But anyway, thanks for the coffee talk, guys. It was fun, and I hope you made some notes. I hope you're going to have a maximum effort Monday for this first full week of 2026, and I know I am. And again, be sure to kind of make a little scribble note Thursday night, 8 o'clock Central, all the usual places you see this thing streaming. We're going to be kicking off the Virtual Stump Weekend Review. Okay? It'll be interesting and fun. And plus, it's episode 1, so you never know exactly how everything's going to work perfectly or not. So, there we go. So, everybody have a great rest of the day. I'm going to put this little end screen up so all the stuff can, like, buffer and stuff and doesn't cut me off or whatever. And I'm going to go have coffee with Alicia and get ready and get gone. Everybody have a great Monday. See you in the morning, 8 o'clock, when we do this thing again. Because why? Because why the hell not?